All right, and even more news of Republicans are sexual predators. That's a fact. That's a fact. If that triggers you, go fuck yourself. Republicans are child predators. That's a fact. It is objectively true. Conservatives and Republicans are child predators. In order to be a Republican, you are mandated to be a child predator. That's it. That's all you need to know. And Exhibit A for evidence of this is something going on in Ohio. Ohio lawmakers advance trans sports ban with genital checks. This is something I said last year. Last year, I told you the only way, when these bills first started coming out and they, early 2021, I told everyone, literally the only way that any of this is going to be enforceable is with mandatory genital checks for children. I was called crazy. They would never do that. They would never do that. It's symbolic. It's symbolic. They would never want to. Meanwhile, the Republicans like to call any random gay or trans person, even if they've never even seen a kid or been around a kid in like 30 years, they're a groomer. They're a predator. Meanwhile, these same Republicans are mandating that all children who want to play sports, regardless of their cisgender or transgender, are going to have to face mandatory genital inspections. What the fuck? Ohio's House of Representatives passed a bill that would ban transgender girls from school sports and require verification from a doctor if a student's sex is called into question. First of all, why don't they ban transgender men from sports? I'm just curious. Why is it that they're only caring about trans women? I mean, there's some, people that care more about trans, but this is just weird. Why wouldn't they just ban all trans people? Why is it trans women specifically? But okay, so this is the important part. If a student's sex is called into question, all it takes is one bully to say, oh, I think that person's a tranny. And then they're banned from playing sports until they have a mandatory genital inspection. And I guarantee you, most people that have their sex called into question are just going to give up and do something else. The provision was a last-minute addition to an unrelated bill that passed in a marathon session late on Wednesday, the first day of Pride Month. The bill next goes to a vote in the state Senate when it reconvenes in several months after a recess. The Ohio House's Republican majority took a similar step last year, but that effort ultimately failed. More than half a dozen states have passed or enacted similar provisions this year alone. Unlike most of the others, the Ohio measure would require students whose sex is, quote, disputed to provide a physician statement verifying internal and external reproductive anatomy and other criteria. What? Why on earth do you need to inspect a 7-year-old's fucking body like that if they want to play soccer? Like, that's insane. That's insane. But Republicans are like, oh yeah, can we take pictures? How else do you prove it? Get a doctor's note? Well, we don't, What if the doctor is a groomer? Well, we need pictures. Can we get some pictures? That's the next step. Ohio schools that violate the proposed rules could face lawsuits. These provisions target a handful of Ohio students and their families who simply want to play sports like everyone else. LGBTQ rights group Equality Ohio said in a statement, the Ohio School Association that has a transgender policy in place for 10 years, during which there have been fewer than 20 transgender girls approved to play high school sports. 20. That's it. There's not, what? Conservative Republican proponents of such legislation argue it is necessary to give girls a level playing field in sports. It's necessary to examine all the genitals of all the kids so that they can play soccer in 3rd grade. Makes sense. Checks out with me. But everyone else are the predators? Democrats and other opponents say the laws are harmful, unnecessary, and unjustly target an already marginalized, vulnerable group. No shit. But are Democrats going to do anything about it? Nope. Not a single Democrat's going to do a single thing about it, I guarantee you. But again, isn't it insane that this is the party of calling out groomers? Ah! And now they want to make it so that everyone that plays sports has to go through mandatory genital inspections. Hey, all I'm telling you is if you live in Ohio and when this bill becomes law, tell your kids to call everyone's sex in question. Make everyone go through it. Because that's the only way people are going to do anything about it. If it's only the weirdos and the freaks and the trannies that have to go through it, no one's going to care. But if the only thing that needs to happen is that there needs to be someone to call their sex in question, just do like a Secret Santa program. Call everyone's sex in question. Make everyone go through it. Because then maybe these students would boycott this fucking shit. Maybe some parents, after their cisgender child has to get rubbed up by a random physician, maybe then they'll do something about it. But we already know that like almost all the time these sex disputes happen, they're cis people. They're people that didn't even, like, they're not even trans. Maybe they're a girl and they've got shortish hair. So, they're a tranny. That's all these people do. They're bullies. They're freaks. They're sexual predators. They're child predators. And they need to get the fuck out of here. Republicans, in my opinion, should not be allowed to have children. Republicans should not be allowed to raise children. Republicans are freaks. They're evil. They should not be allowed anywhere near a school. They are fucking crazy psychopaths. That's all I need to say. Fuck them.